All right, welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show here on this wonderful Friday. It's a little rainy earlier, Schlegs, but it's really lightened up and everything is ready to move forward in a big way. So I'm excited for the weekend here. Got a big practice tomorrow for the Buckeyes. Excited to check that out. I know you are.
You gonna go there? You gonna go there? You gonna be there?
Yeah, I told you I was going to be there. Are you going to come over? That's the question that I'm asking you.
I gotta look at a Doomajig in the morning at 9, and then I'm gonna come over.
Well, you got a Doomajig. What's a Doomajig at 9? A workout?
No, we gotta look at a house. We gotta look at a house.
Oh, there we go. Getting ready to move back. I like it, Schlegs. I mean, it's a BFD. So are you looking at it by yourself, or is the lovely Steffers coming in with you?
I have the vision, Bob. I know what I need. I mean, put the hammer down. Sometimes people can get too much in the weed. I'm like, no, this is fine. Now you got to take it. Listen, you got to take things into consideration. Like, the flow of a kitchen, what she likes. Hardest thing is I'm moving back from Florida.
Yeah.
Moving back from Florida in a new build, and everything is big and new and clean. And then you're moving back to 1970s. It's just like, what in the Sam Dickens were they doing?
Well, it's 50 years ago, Schlegs.
No, but they definitely weren't thinking about master bathrooms. I like big master bathrooms. I like space to spread out in and do whatever I want, and that is not the case in certain level houses. And more importantly, it's about proximity. And it's like where you are in my stage of life, there's a lot of uncertainties. I don't know if my daughter's she graduated high school in 3 years. I don't know where she's going to go. Is she going to go to a school in Florida? Is she going to come back to Ohio? Right? You got a kid going to Finland. Then you got a 13-year-old. It's like, what? You got to make those kind of adjustments. But, and then there's the farm, and it's like the drive. And it's like, what do you want your quality of life to be? And so you got to take all those things into consideration. So I look at it as you got to get as many inputs as you can, right? Like all things. You got to swing, as hard as you possibly can at all things. And then guess what? Boom. The prayer is, hey, close the doors that need to be closed and open the doors that need to be open. And let's plant the flag and go.
I like that, Schlegs. I like that. That is it's a good message there. That's a good thing to pray for and figure out. You got a lot of good problems. You could get a new build here, Schlegs, if you want, but it's probably not going to be where you want it to be. So
no, exactly.
If you're talking about location, real estate, Schlegs, they always say location, location, location. And so that's a big deal for you. And so you're going to be looking at Doomajig you said at 9 o'clock.
And then I'm coming to practice.
Quinn said it's not going to start until around 10:30. So
why?
Because you've got a Doomajig at 9. So they said they're going to start it later.
Yeah. Okay. It happens.
I mean,
I appreciate that, Phil J. Phil J is like first world problems.
Phil?
I don't even have problems, bro. I don't even have problems. It's like 99 problems, and no, I have 0 problems, man. Attitude.
Why are we upset with the practice starting at like 10:30?
Because I had my day structure. Because I got to go also sling about. I kid you not, man. Like I got 200 attachments for the difference sitting in the shop. That this weekend I'm just going to go up there, have some monster dickles, and I'm going to sticker and pull pin and box every single one because they going out. I mean, I'm talking like just off the top of my head. I'll pull it up. I got, of those 200 that are coming in, I got 109 going out. So, hey, you want to talk about first world problems? Those are business problems that are great. Like you like that. You like to be busy because that means you're making money and you're profitable now in 2025. Buckeyes. That was profitable last year too, but still, it's the point. It's like, hey, we're slinging machines, baby.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it's a little bit later, so you can do your stuff and then head up after. You can leave.
I just need time, man. I need time.
You can leave practice at any time, Schlegs. You don't have to stay the whole time. Like you're not.
But you know how it is, man. Like when I was just even talking to the guys at Pro Day, and I was talking to Matty P a little bit. It's like I got excited talking to James and Nate. I'm excited to watch Nate coach because Nate is so dry without such a high, like elite level GSF. And I've said this many times to people, like. He might be one of the greatest people that I ever worked out with or trained in a capacity simply because of what he did. Like NFL, first off, walking on at Ohio State, earning a scholarship at Ohio State, getting drafted based off of his athleticism and special teams play to the Patriots, playing for 10 years, subsequently in the mix, going to and making an Olympic team and playing in the Olympics only to come back and play another NFL season. Like that 2-year stretch on a human was probably greater, and he's suffering the consequences now, but you charge that to winning. And, having 3 Super Bowls and then now coaching, take all of that and then put it into 18 and 22-year-olds and where you were, and then you're also growth, and now you're in your 30s, and what you expect and what they are, it can be frustrating. I'm excited just to watch that because I know his mannerisms and his body language. I can't wait to watch that aspect along with who these up-and-coming dudes are.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see all that. And, you watch Nate, so you'll be able to see whatever you want, Schleiks. They're gonna go on big recruiting day. A bunch of guys are gonna be out there. It's gonna be your classic, Buckeye stuff going on, and it'll be a situational practice. So you'll get to see some different stuff, and that's gonna be a lot of fun, man. I love that. I love going out there. They get competitive, and the guys know you don't have class, you don't have anything else after this. You get the Sunday off, and so usually they ratchet it up a little bit on the intensity and get it going. And so that's how those Saturday practices always are. I think they started a little bit later, so you can get like recruits in. It's just it's a more advantageous situation to be
As
able.
long as they're taking them to Waffle House.
I don't think they're taking them anywhere. I don't think it's not an official visit. They're just coming in to watch practice. Like they're on spring. There's guys still on spring breaks. You come in, or it's a Saturday. Either way, come in and watch practice, meet with the coaches. And then everybody gets out of there and enjoys. At least
I think they should put a Waffle House right by that Cane's on Olentangy. That would be the strip. I got a Roosters, a Cane's, and a Waffle House.
The Rooster's been closed for about 6 months, so
they're renovating. That's okay.
It'll be done here hopefully during football.
You know what I've been eating lately is that Chop 5. That's pretty daggum good.
Yeah, there's a Chop 5 on Lane.
That's where I've been going, Bob. That's why it's like right by the gym. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, double chicken, please. I get the minute. I'm just saying. The people are like, you've been here like 3 days in a row. I'm like, I know, because I'm a
which
Spartan.
Chop 5? Which one are you going? The one by my house?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't ever text me and stop by and say Buckeyes?
Because it's normally like they close at 8 and it's like 7:50, and I apologize.
Oh, so you get dinner there. I thought you were getting lunch.
No. It's like I get it, I make it. This is what I do. I get it, I make it, put it in the back seat, I get the tortilla soup, and then I just slurp the tortilla soup down, and I get a water cup, and that's kind of like because I hadn't probably eaten since I haven't eaten yet today. I did have a yogurt. These ozone things, they're like 20 grams. I was like, well, I don't have a protein shake, so I'm just gonna eat one of those, throw it on in, and let's do a show. But I'll slurp that, just suck that tortilla soup down, drink that water. That's kind of like my drive home. And then I get there and I can and then I just eat that chopped salad with extra chicken. That's how I do it.
That's good. I was talking to some of the guys about their pro day performances. Everybody, I think, was pretty happy. I talked to Emeka a little bit today about it, and it's interesting. Like, he's like, I feel like I could have ran a little better. My 40. He's like, I've been hitting. He ran a 4.45. I've been hitting low, 4.40, high threes. So it's a little different, and then different about that, and then as well his pro shuttle. He's like, I think he was like a 4.09. He's like, I had been under 4, sub 4. Most of the time, I'm like, listen, man, I go, it's a box check day. You came out, you did what you needed to do. I understand. Believe me, I'm the same way. I wish I had a 0.5 here, or, 3 or 4 hundredths there. When you're on point and you're doing your very best, you feel, you want to make sure you're showing exactly what you are. I go, here's the thing, Mac, like your film, they could give 2 craps of whether you're running a 3.99 or a 4.09. It's, can you separate from people in the middle of the field? Do you have the agility, the lateral quickness to be able to move back and forth? If you have those things, and they're like, okay, the film looks good, he's on good players, and then you run, like you said, and you do the tests. The tests simply are confirmation of what you've already seen on the film. So that's the big piece of it. He's ran well. He's got good. I was like, if you ran a 4.51 on the 40, now that might be a little bit of a different deal, and people might start questioning. I go, but you're in the mid 4.4s. You run a 4.43. Is that better than a 4.45? Like, does it really make a difference? And I don't think that it does in his case, with what he's doing. But the Bills were in town, worked out a bunch of guys, some DBs, and then also the D line. So those guys all getting after that there this morning. I was hoping to get Jack Sawyer on. He was trying to come on maybe next week. So we'll see if we can figure that out as far as his schedule and what that ultimately looks like as well. Because it's tough. We got Lathan, who always comes on early, and then we've got Bill Bender on Tuesday. So I'm going to have AJ on Wednesday. So we're going to have to try to juggle this around and see if we can figure it out a little bit as far as how this is going to work and what it's going to ultimately look like. But these guys, a bunch of them have visits coming up. They got the 30 visits where you're allowed to bring 30 guys in. And so you do the visits on site to the different teams. And then you also have your workouts. So they come in and work guys out. So immediately after, they're diving right into this. And
talk more about that, Bob, because I don't think sometimes people understand. So you have the combine and you do drills. Then you have yesterday, pro day, and you do drills. And that was G and OG doing the drills. Then it's like, I want my coach to do the drills because it's their coaching eye of what they want versus drills that other people are making you do. And so not only are they doing those two, they're also doing the individuals. Talk more about it, Bob.
So yeah, they'll come in and they'll work you out. And you and I did a bunch together. And sometimes they work out one guy. If you've got multiple guys, the coach is like, let's just work them all out. And it just gives you better timing and tempo for everything. But the position coach of a team will come in, maybe a coordinator, and they will work you out and have you do specific things that are maybe unique to what they envision you doing in their scheme, and whether, whatever position that is you're playing. And so if they want you to see some outside linebacker, they'll do some stuff from there, and they'll draw some scheme stuff up. A lot of times they'll come in the night before, you'll have dinner together, and maybe they'll give you some scheme stuff. You'll do some things on the board, watch some film. And then from that, you go out on the field, or maybe you do the film afterwards. But they'll ask you to do stuff that kind of is unique to where they see you fitting in their offense or defense.
Yep.
And sometimes they're out there today. I mean, sometimes they're videoing it, just depending on how that ultimately goes and what they decide to do with it. And so, but it's their own specific team. And, people are like, well, you just saw them at the combine, you saw them at pro day. Yeah, but you don't get to necessarily do exactly what you want. And plus, like, all the position coaches aren't going to every pro day. So they may have a couple of guys, especially guys near the top of the draft, that they're going to target. And if this is somebody that we're really interested in, okay, let's go here. Let's get them doing what we want. See if they can play like our style of defense or our style of offense, what we ask our guys to do. And that way we can watch them do those same things. And so those guys are going through those. And what's changed now, Schlegs, over the last 10 years is you used to have your 30 visits where you could get flown in by a team and they'd come in. That's the only time they could talk to you. Well, now they still have those. And they can do a little medical stuff on you and check you out, but they're not allowed to work you out there. They can only like medically evaluate you.
Yeah, that's
but when
cool.
you go to the place, you can't work out. But a lot of those guys are like, man, we've done a ton of Zooms. And so they only get so many of those visits, but they, I think, have like a limitless Zooms. So these guys have done a bunch of Zooms with, coordinators and their position coaches and everything else, talking about the defenses or offense as well.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this. I think it's imperative. One, obviously the people that are decision makers and where you are on their big board, et cetera, but like, it's also the position coach. I think that's something that is a little underrated because they also want to coach guys that they want to draft guys that they also want to coach, but it gives them a greater sense of like, they know the current roster of guys, the guys that are on their roster that are free agents, the guys that are on their roster that are under contract, and what does that guy or what does that skill set look like right now without the pads on, but like right now, what does that guy look like compared to what I currently have in my room? And that's where they can have the dialogue with you, man, he's very similar to this guy. I don't know. No, I think he's better than these guys, and they might be on the fringe. So I wouldn't mind taking that guy. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's very important for the position coaches to be involved in this process, because they know their room better than anybody else. And they also want to be able to have guys that they want to coach.
Very, very key. The guys you want to coach. And it's interesting. I'm talking to some of the guys. I'm like, you want everybody to like you.
Yeah.
You don't want any dissenters in those rooms.
I don't want to coach that guy, man. I can't coach that guy.
Well, I was just talking. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but I was talking to one of the scouts with Dallas, and he said when they were in this hell, it's been 20 years, so I think the statute's up on it. And he's like, Mike Zimmer, the D coordinator, was in there. He's like, we're watching all the linebackers, and Bill's talking about AJ. He's like, I knew we weren't going to be able to take him. And the D coordinator, Mike Zimmer, goes, "Can we quit talking about him?" He goes, he doesn't make enough plays. And Parcells, I guess he had been hammering that the whole time, Schlegs. So Bill kicked him out. He said, "What do you mean he doesn't make enough plays?" He's like, "Get out of here. The guy makes more plays than anyone else you're looking at." And he threw Zim out of the meeting.
Yeah, yesterday you didn't drop. You said the story, but you didn't drop who it actually was.
Yeah.
I'm happy that it was Zimmer. That's amazing.
And I like Zim. I mean, he's a good dude. Was he in Cincinnati when you were there?
Yeah, he came in and cut me. So yeah, exactly. But I like him.
Yeah, but he's a good dude. I
like him, man. I liked him. I was like, man, I would have loved to have been able to play for him. I was just hurt.
Yeah, but it was good. But he was like, yeah, I made a play in, all these years. So like you want everybody to be on your side. And so that position coach working you out, like you show him a lot of respect, show him a lot of effort. Like if you're not going to show respect and effort in a one-on-one setting with the guy that's going to draft you, I don't know who you are going to show respect and effort to. I can tell those guys, like, look at it from their perspective. This is your chance coming in a one-on-one interview. If you can't give it up and give the best version of yourself right here, like not walk back to the cone and all that stuff, when are you going to do it? Like, this is the very best you're going to get. This is like going on, your first couple dates with someone. Like they're on their best behavior. If they're acting like trash, then, well, I mean, heck, heaven forbid, who knows what you're going to get into.
Yeah, you got to get somebody that can see through it, because I remember my first date, like, what, speaking of that, I tried not to eat on my first date because I was I ate terrible. And then like date 4 or 5, like Stephanie saw my true colors. It was just like a caged animal in there, and just like, boom, buffalo wings and ranch. I mean, just so gross. But she saw through it, man. She saw the good in me. And I was like, that's how I knew you were a keeper.
Absolutely. Well, I want to tell everybody about this, Schlegs. Attention, parents and athletes. Protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including the patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that thing to your own unique grill. For more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. There's a Big Watson, Schlegs, a big biscuit. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I got him. I know it. Florida guy.
The power into the ground, Schlegs, the force, one of the beefiest dudes in all of college football. He had his pro day. It was amazing. These numbers will totally blow you away. Coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show, Schlegs. And Big Watson, the big biscuit, 446 pounds, I believe, is what you're rolling with there. And you start looking at some of his metrics. I think he's a defensive tackle, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken. He's a girthy dude. But Desmond Watson putting on a show at Pro Day, 6'6", 446 pounds. Ran a sub 6-second 40. And I was joking around with people. I'm like, I saw a thing come through, Schlegs, where they said the energy that it took for him to run, a 4.9 basic or a 5.9 40 would be somebody that's like 220 pounds running like a 3.2 with how much energy that he is putting into the ground. Like you talk about power into the ground. The dude's vertical, I think, was 25 or 26 inches. Think how much energy and juice, it would take for that to ultimately be able to like push that much power into the ground. And then watch him run the 40 right here, Slags. Look at this beef. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Drive that elbow back, son. Drive that elbow back. Yeah. Look at that guy. Look at that. Look at him. Yeah, hey guys, listen, man. At 400 whatever pounds,
446 Slags.
the
Don't
guy's
sell him
moving,
short.
bro. The guy's moving, man. Like that's impressive. But again, like how many?
You deal with the force plates. Like how much energy and power do you think it would take for him to 446 pounds to vertical jump 26 inches? There's not a lot of guys. I know there's probably more people walking through the United States than not that cannot jump 2 feet in the air.
Well, I mean, just think about like, sure, his calves are enormous, carrying all that weight around. But like one of the precursors that we have, like especially like parameters, is how fast can you move your body weight on a squat, right? Like the goal is 1.0 meters per second. It's like, man, yeah, you're explosive enough. If you're 250 and you're moving 250 at 1.0 meters per second, that's pretty damn good. I don't know what his would look like, right? Like that would be amazing. I'm sure he's extremely strong. I think he did 36 on 37 on the bench press, something like that. But still, big guy. Question would be like, what is he? Obviously, is he a 1 down guy? I mean, is he a 2 down guy? Is he?
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you could keep him out there too many downs, but also the problem is subbing him on and off the field.
100%.
Like, you would get gassed running 35 yards on and off the field regularly.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, like those are as much of an anomaly as he is. He also can't be, a hindrance to what you want to do in that scheme. It's just different in college than the league. So interested to see what happens to him.
That'll be good. I just wanted to throw that there.
Got that Lathan one, man.
Speaking of combine, let's throw the Lathan stuff up because he's our guy. He's going to be on with us next week, probably on Monday, as we throw up some of Lathan's numbers. I talked a little bit about his broad. I think he did a 10-1.
10-1.
His 40 time was 5.1, I believe, 5.2.
His what?
What?
No. Oh, hey, that big guy that did that. What was his broad jump?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Okay, so hey, just so you guys know, like honestly, the broad jump is probably the best like metric of power, right? Because it requires like shin angles to be able to like propel your body in a horizontal plane. And that is our game. Our game is a game of acceleration and power. So him being able to broad jump, that's why I said Q jumping 11 was just like, what? I mean, that's amazing.
I jumped 10.5, big dog.
I know, but Q jumped 11, right? So again, broad jump 10-1. He jumped 36.5 vertical, ran a 4.53, did 225 20 times. Big frame guy, safety, like Lathan had himself a day. And I think he's one of those underrated guys because, again, when you have great ball, like football acumen, and you play safety, like you're not required to run like max velo, but all the subtle nuances of being able to play fast that like looks really different. Having that, right, along with these measurables, a bigger guy running that time and that explosive and that physical.
Look at that slow motion.
Look at that, man. Like I mean, one, he's been on the show. He's our guy. He was with us all year while playing, went through the combine stuff with us. Like, I'm just so excited for Lathan and what his future holds at the next level. I can't wait to see where he goes.
Yeah, a little bench there. And one thing people need to know about Lathan, he's like this. One of the reasons why I love him, this is how we started getting to talk, is because when everybody else was done lifting, he would be the dude hitting at the dumbbell racks by himself, hitting in some of those arms, getting those curls. I mean, he's got no calves. I said, it's genetic though, but he's always working. He's always lifting. And he goes, man, like if I don't lift, I don't feel as good. I'm like, yes, now you fully have embraced like that meathead phenomenon where you feel like you have to lift. If not, like you're not feeling as strong as you would like. So he'd be in there on Fridays getting like a little quick arm pump, which I always loved because, we always did that. So it was awesome stuff to see. It was great to see, a guy doing that 20 years later, Schlegs, and also somebody who plays safety and not just a linebacker.
No doubt. I'm just writing in the chat, hi GSF, dude. And again, Jordan Hancock had a day, looked really, really good. That's what you want. Like we talk about how many guys can get drafted. Like I think they're all going to be able to get drafted or go somewhere. It's all about the fits, man. It's not about the rounds. It's about the fits because again, the money's not made in the first contract, boys and girls. The money's made in the second one. And it's how fast can you get to the second one? And what is that? That's because of opportunities that you get in your earlier part of your career to be able to validate what that money is in that second one. And the faster that you can prove that you're worthy of that, the faster you will get there.
Well, and this just came out from Will Starr. He said, did Bob just say it was a 5-1? I said 4-5-1. Like I'll just say 5-1 because that's 4-5-1. It's implied that he's running in the fours, and maybe I stumbled over that. But
it's okay. It's okay. I got it.
I know. I just want to clarify that out there ultimately for the folks so everybody can understand what they were doing. But these guys now, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to continue to have these workouts and continue to have these meetings as they proceed toward the draft, which the draft is what?
April 26th.
April 26th. So about a month. So you got about 4 weeks then. 28 days from tomorrow, they will have the NFL draft. We'll get a chance to see where all these Buckeyes go over the course of, I guess it's 4 weeks from yesterday.
You know what, though, Bob? Here's another thing. It's why it's awesome that those head coaches were at Ohio State in particular, because they are like Ohio State type guys, when they coach. Like
OKGs.
Yep. I love that you just threw that in there, man. You're so good at that stuff. But like that, they are looking for these pieces because they know these type of pieces can win football games and build a team. And you have to still have that continuity and that leadership in the locker room, regardless of age. These guys are going to come in, just be a pros and assimilate to the culture that we already got and be all about whether it's the Patriot way or the Steeler defense. And like, I would love somebody put in there. I would love to see Lathan in Pittsburgh, man. That would be a great fit for him.
Yeah. Arizona kid in Pittsburgh, just getting a little more of that cold weather,
I mean, why not?
Midwest weather for him. Yeah, but he's got big guns, and he looks like he could be maybe a Pittsburgh guy. So I know the Steelers fans out there would love that. All right, that is it for this segment. Coming up next, Sykes, conversation has been had. We always talked about this. What is a real Buckeye? Actually, let's get into Arvel Reese.
Yeah. And
what Arvel Reese could be for this team. James had some interesting comments about him, and there are a lot of people that are really buying in on the Arvel Reese.
Who are you teasing this? We're going to break and you go back with Arvel?
Yeah, we're going to come back with a little Arvel Reese and what he's been able to do and what he's getting into coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show. As I mentioned, we're talking a little Arvel Reese. Everybody's talked a lot about Sonny Styles. And I think Arvel Reese, when you look at this, he is a guy who's going to be a big-time player on this defense. It's his third year he came in. He was really raw. He was really thin. He's put on probably 30 pounds since he's been here. He's like 245. Maybe
he's
25.
Big, man. I saw him the other day. Guys, Belly has broad shoulders already.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Ryan Shazier came in. He weighed 198 pounds. Like Arvel came in, and like you said, Bob, like he was like 210. And he's like, I was like, dude, how much are you weighing? He's like, yeah, like, 242, 245. Like, I'm like, And then Sonny's like 242. I'm like, and they're big. They're 6'4".
Yeah, they're tall.
They're tall, man.
They're tall, they're athletic, and they can run. And so everybody's talked about Sonny because he was the big-time 5-star guy, reclass, came in early. He's been very good. Arvel Reese was the guy to Glenville, and they're like, okay, he's kind of more of a project. Like Ohio State doesn't really take projects, but he was someone who wasn't ready to play day one, at least not at linebacker. And remember, early on, he played some defensive end. James had to battle, and James keeps saying, like, the two guys had to battle for was to get Sonny from the safeties and get Arvel from the D-line. He's like, and these two guys are going to be two of the best linebackers we're going to see here in quite some time. This is a quote. We'll throw this up from James, what he's saying. Arvel is so talented, like so talented. I think what we're doing is realizing everything Arvel Reese can do, and it's a lot. He's a special talent. And Schlegs, when you're 6'4", and I talked earlier on the radio show where your arms are 29.4 inches. Arvel's, I'm guessing, are like 32 plus, maybe 33. I mean, mine are like 31 and a half, and I feel like he's probably got another inch on me, maybe two. So he's long. He's smart. He gets it. He was played some defensive line. And so I think what you're going to see with him this year is, I mean, he is going to be a Swiss Army knife out there up front with all of the different things he can do. And it's just going to come down to, his capacity, mental capacity of how much you can put on this guy's plate and how much he'll be able to learn, because he played like I said, played the end. He's been working at linebacker. He rolled in a lot with those guys, made some plays, and he is he's really growing into what is going to be a fine linebacker because he has all of the physical tools that you need.
Bro, when you have a guy of James's status, all-time leading tackler of, whatever,
Rams.
St. Louis Rams, right? Like the Ram organization, saying that, oh yeah, Arvel is so talented. Like, and there was like a pause, like so talented. It should really perk your attention because the dude has been around a lot of great players, from whether it's from college to pros. And when he can see that in Arvel Reese and what he could do, and then you couple that with an NFL caliber mind of fronts and packages that allow guys to be at their best, right? And you have somebody like Arvel that can do a lot of that, like you talked about, Bob, and has really grown into the position. He is poised to have a big time season. And the other thing too about Veli is like he is a worker. It is not like this is just, like he came in with this, Bob, right? Like you mentioned before. Arvel has worked for every pound that he's put on. Arvel shows up every single day. What I am most impressed about him when I first got to meet him was every single day, Veli, and I call him Veli, but Veli is –
like Arveli and Schlegelveli are kind of like –
Exactly, man. We're like kindred spirits, man. Like this goes back to like Splackavelli and the Players Club. I mean, race does not matter in this. Both are Velis. Both of us are Velis. And so, but it's the mannerism the mannerism in which he goes about handling his business really spoke volumes to me, regardless of how young he was. And then and that's what I was very impressed of with the young men that we have at Ohio State. It's just how they're authentically themselves and how much they care about handling their business. And Veli was no different. And he has worked and for every opportunity he's getting and for the size that he is now. So kudos to making the boys. But yeah, man, I'm excited for him.
Yeah, he's been really good, man. It's
that's why I'm going to practice on Saturday because I gotta see this. Because I remember him last year, and that's the cool thing, man. It's like from one season to the next, you can see drastic jumps in young people. And so based on that, I'm like, I want to see this.
Yeah, he's made some huge leaps, and so it's been fun to watch him at practice, and everything that they've put together out there with him has been pretty sweet because when you have a special talent like that, you can move them around and it allows you to be very creative. And then you have Sonny too, who has a lot of the same characteristics and same traits, and so it's going to be tough on the offense. I think you'll see him a lot in blitz packages. I think you'll see him off the edge. You're going to see him in the middle. He can do cover. He can play coverage. He can rush. He's good against the run. And he's continuing to learn. He's so raw still, and he's just getting better and better and better. And so to see that work back and forth has been pretty awesome. Been very, very excited to watch that progress as we've moved through. All right. We're going to put a pin in that as we move forward. Schlegs, yeah, that's right. Pin it up. And coming back, we got some headlines. It should be no surprise. We always get all these different metrics, all the measurements, who's the best team, who's the team that's the most followed. Well, they've got the top 10 most watched college football games from 24 into the 25 season. And there should be no surprise that Ohio State has a number of those top spots. We'll check all that out here next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. Now we get some headlines with the Bobby Carpenter Show, and this has been up here for a while, Schlegs. It's about time that we get to it because they always put the top 10 most watched games out, and they've got to find a way to get away from the NFL a little bit when it comes to the playoff. But so we can throw this up here, Schlegs. There's no surprise that Ohio State has 4 of the top 10 games this year. And what's amazing looking at that Michigan isn't even on that list.
Oh.
Obviously, the national championship game. You have Oregon, which somehow outdrew Texas, which is wild to me. But I think that goes back to the fact that that Texas game and even the national championship, those were butted up against NFL playoffs, and so that's not a great thing. Like Tennessee was 15 million. It was a blowout, but it was a standalone. And so you start looking at the numbers. Yeah, those are good, but you get Ohio State, Notre Dame, you'd almost expect it to be closer to 30 million for a national championship. But if you look at this, Big Ten is very prominently featured. There's at least one team in the top 4 in one of them's against 2 Big Ten teams. And then you start scrolling down around top 8, 9, 10. I mean, and granted, most of this is the playoffs, but pretty darn impressive to see the Big Ten up there with all of that. And Ohio State, obviously, Schlegs leading the way.
Yeah, I mean, almost 2 million more views in that Texas game. But the biggest thing is this: it goes back to recruiting and NIL and how I would approach this. It's you look at our pro day, you look at what our guys are able to do, right? All the head coaches, there's a reason behind that, and the relationships. You look at who's watching you, right? Of all the games that are played, they're watching the Buckeyes. And so, yeah, you get, and I say that because, yeah, we might offer you less NIL dollars, but the value of coming here outweighs what you would get if you went to this other school. And yeah, you made a little bit more money here, but is it about money now or is it about money in the future and the development of where you are in your college career to get where you want to go? If you just want to make money while you're in college, are you really the fit for us? And that's what they go back to after they go eat at Waffle House when those guys decline. Then they're like, hey, here's what we're offering you. No, I want more. Guess what? GTFO, on to the next. So it's just good that the Big Ten is prevalent, obviously the SEC, but to me, you're right, Bob, that number one game should not have been 22-1. It should not have been 1 million more people than Oregon. I think the Oregon game was predicated upon rematch of what happened in the season, close game, final play of the game, what's going to happen. This was kind of the quote-unquote national championship game already in the quarterfinals that people thought, and so they wanted to tune in. But, guys, bump the season up, man. Put in August. Give us some more break and more ability to consume it without, trying to go against the NFL. The NFL is the NFL. It is the shield. Why mess with it? Go get your bag. And your bag is in December and beginning of January, not January 20th.
Well, what's amazing, Schlegs, is the fact that you talk about Ohio State and Texas. Those are 2 of the biggest brands, Ohio State and Notre Dame, right in there as well. And Texas and Notre Dame and Ohio State was a really good game. Ohio State, Texas, you could argue was even better. The back and forth, the fact that you're hanging on the last 2 minutes with everything that happened, and that is a state that cares a lot, just like Notre Dame. I mean, I feel like both of those should have been amplified a pretty significant amount. from where they were. So they got to figure out the scheduling, but there's no surprise. Like the Buckeyes are at the top. They're always going to be at the top when it comes to ratings. I'm almost amazed that the Michigan game wasn't in there for close to 20 million as well. At least somewhere around the top 10, hovering around the back, but that's that. All right, now we're going to finish our edition of headlines. Coming up next, we got a Real Talk, or our Tailgate Talk, brought to you by Real Truck. So hop on in there, listen to this. We'll answer your questions. There's one great comment. It's been a big linebacker show. Another guy James was giving flowers to. We'll get to that comment and question here coming up next on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, welcome back in. It's our Tailgate Talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Go to realtruck.com, bring your truck, Jeep, Bronco to life, accessorize it, the interior, the exterior. It's all there for you at realtruck.com. So let's get that going in a big way. All right, Schlegs. We were talking a lot about Arvel Reese, talking a lot about Sonny Styles. Those guys look the profile. They're big, they're long, they're broad. They played other positions. There is a guy out of Texas, though. I believe he's out of Lovejoy, if I'm not mistaken. Schlegs.
Oh, yeah, Lovejoy.
Lovejoy.
Right there by Salina.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. Most people don't know about that. There was a question Will Star threw up there. His comment. Peyton Pierce is also going to pop this year, in my opinion. Coach James was really giving him his flowers, too. And you can talk a little bit about your eval, Peyton, because I saw him with this even last year. He's not the tallest dude in the world, but he's a wrestler. He's tough. He's fast. He's like just enough of everything. Like he's not the biggest, but he's big enough. He's not the fastest, but he's fast enough. He's not the strongest, but he's strong enough. But he's tough. He's a wrestler. And he's always around the ball. He gets off blocks and is always around the ball. And so I don't know how you're not going to play him. He's smart. He gets it. Guys love him. And they're going to have to find a way to get him into this rotation this year.
Well, I mean, if you think about where Sonny and, Arvel are, because Arvel's going to be a junior, right, Bob?
Yeah, it's his third year.
I mean, guys, if they have those kind of years, both of those guys could be gone. And then who's there? You got Peyton, you got TJ just brand new, you got Riley's brand new, so it's like you have to continue to build that depth. My evaluation of Peyton, one besides the fact that he's a state champion wrestler in Texas, as was I, it is his football.
How is you being a state champion in Texas pertinent to this conversation?
Because I was too, said I'm the one talking about it. So, of course, I have an affinity for him. So, anyways, that being said, here's the thing. Peyton's football IQ, it goes back to like the guy is always around the football. And as though, you can't just say like, oh, look at this guy's genetic potential in the ceiling. It's also the consistency of which he handles his business and he plays. Like every practice he flashes. He's consistent every single time. He makes all the plays that he's supposed to make, and he also makes some extras, right? Like that's kind of Peyton. So not only, we're seeing stuff that other people can do, but you have confidence that if you do walk a Veli out to the edge, that you have somebody that can go in and potentially be another Mike, whether it's him. Like who's your third? Really out of this spring and then in the camp, the question's going to be for everybody in the linebacker room, who is the third? Right, you had Sonny and Cody last year.
Yep. And they would do three linebacker sets. You remember, like
exactly. I think Sonny went. Nope. Veli went to the outside. Right,
well,
he was Sam.
Sonny would go to Sam because it was similar to nickel, and they put Arvel in at will. Sonny, they asked him to play all three linebacker spots at times last year, which James said is almost unfair given it was his first year playing linebacker, but he was smart enough to handle it. And people were like on him at the beginning of the season because remember Cody got nicked up, so he goes, "We can't put Vel in there. We'll put Sonny at Sam at Mike, and then Arvel at Sam or Will." And then when they go to that 3 linebacker set, they put Sonny on the strong side. So over the course of like 5 games, he's playing 3 spots pretty regularly. So he can kind of handle all that. I would anticipate you would play Arvel and Sonny both outside and play Peyton in the middle. That's what I would think without having seen that.
Yep. And why? I mean, they can cover it. And like, I think Peyton does a really good job. He uses his hands very, very well at the point of contact, but he can read and he gets downhill fast. And that's what you want out of a Mike in that kind of set, because you're spilling the ball out to the other dudes. Like, that's why I did what I did. But, I really, to your point, Will, in the chat, like, I really do think highly of Peyton Pierce.
All right, Schlegs, I want you to think about this because you got to get this over to our guy, Pat, to get your dude of the week. I put mine in the chat. We're going to come back, Schlegs.
Okay.
Parting thoughts and get your dude of the week, because a dude's not a gender. A dude is a lifestyle, coming up next. All right, Schlegs, you've got some great dudes of the week, so I'm going to let you lead off.
Yeah, my dudes of the week, throw it up there. Jesse Mendez, Wyatt Hendrickson. It happened on Monday, national championship. Jesse, 2-time Buckeye national champion. Awesome for him. And then Wyatt Hendrickson beating Gable Stevenson in the final 30 seconds of the match. An Air Force Academy grad, COVID year, goes to Oklahoma State, wins the national championship. The manner in which he did it, the salute to the president, beating Olympic gold medalists, like so many different things. Those are my 2 dudes of the weeks. A Buckeye and a Falcon.
There you go. Just like you, Schlegs.
Just like me.
Just like you, a Buck Falcon. All together. Mine's going to be a guy that's been sliding under the radar, but he went to the pro day, ran really well. People were very impressed. I believe he ran a 4.41. Tall. He's height at 6 foot. I think weighed about 195. Everything that you want. Doesn't really talk that much. Didn't get a lot of the glory from this season. But Jordan Hancock, Ohio State's nickel, did a great job. Saw him out there working today. He cut the dreads off. Like, I didn't even recognize him on pro day at first. But really excited for him because there was a lot of people that kept asking a lot of questions just because he's not like a vocal guy, and he kind of went under the radar a little bit. But really happy for Jordan. So super excited for him. All right. That's it for this edition of the Bobby Carpenter Show. We'll be coming back with you next week. We should have Lathan Ransom on. We're going to have Bill Bender. AJ's back from vacation, trying to get Jack Sawyer on here, trying to get a bunch of dudes. It'll be a fun time as they're trying to all get prepared for the combine. And we're into week 3 of spring ball. So we'll give you an update on what happened Saturday, coming up on Monday on the Bobby Carpenter Show.